All right, first off, I'd like to thank you for doing this interview with the Hype Magazine tonight.
Oh, no problem. I love it.
And to get started, can you tell the fans and listeners who you are and where you're from?
I'm your girl, Miss Toy, and I'm from Inglewood, California.
Yes, ma'am. Now, you're a legend. We're going to highlight a lot of your successes, but I want to give a little bit of your origin story to get started. So, do you think being from California made it harder for you or easier for you to get into the music industry?
Originally, I'm from Chicago, but moving to
Oh,
Los Angeles gave me more of a edge. You know what I'm
okay.
saying? A little bit different. So I was, embraced, you know.
So, being from Chicago, how did you get to LA to chase this music dream? I'm from Indianapolis, so I understand the Midwest very well. So, how did you make that transition?
Oh, that was my mom's decision. I had been in, a young child and
Okay.
traveling, from where my mom grew up and all of us was born. And she wanted to be somewhere else. She always wanted to go to California, just like
Okay.
now she wants to go to Paris. So that we gonna make that happen too. You know what I'm saying?
Now, what's first sparked your interest in being an artist and doing this amazing career that you've had?
Well, I always loved music. Like just dancing. I did modern dance. I did drill team in school. I did, you know what I'm saying? I've always been a part of like what trends with dancing when I was younger. So being a part of the music on the other side was another dream of mine because I'm a writer. I'm a
Yeah.
poet. I love lyrics. You know what I'm saying? That's how I actually communicate with my mother when I was younger,
Okay.
writing, notes and poems and stuff. So it turned into my writing. And later on, after I got out of high school, I was able to get in a hip hop group that where I was dancing first, and then I
Okay.
got really inspired to get the mic. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, oh
Okay.
no, I can't be in the background. I'm not that kind of person. You know what I'm saying?
So when you start out as a dancer and they get you like you said, it's a group. They're you're not really on the mic yet, but you start to have that interest in it and that desire to be a part of it. How did you get started? Did somebody mentor you? Did you go study some books or like give us a little bit of the story on how you made the transition from a dancer to being an MC?
Well, I'm a leader. Once I did get off the stage, all the fans in the club used to come to me. They didn't even go to the lead rap artist. You know what I'm saying? They came to me. So I already knew if I did something else, they would still be interested. You know what I'm saying? I had them engaged with just dancing. So that was phenomenal for me. But I always wrote. So I was at home and the guy I dated at the time got home, he drove a limo and he was like, dang, babe, I didn't know you was doing it like that. You know what I'm saying? He said, the next person that get in my car, I'm gonna tell him about you. And that's what he did. And
Wow.
it was Ronnie DeVoe's uncle, and he was managing just like he still is right now. Brooke Payne was my manager for a short time, but it was a very interesting and learning experience because I got placed with some producers that I still am in contact with today,
Yeah.
Mosey, and did one of my first songs. And me and Ron have a song called Lifestyle of the Rough and Sexy, and really my voice has always been a little rugged, and Ron liked that about my voice, and that
Yeah.
my image was very classy, and you know what I'm saying. So the putting those two together was kind of how I built my career after that, because I'm glad I'm respected for having the rough rock rugged side, but I'm also a lady. You know what I mean?
Now you are really dope with helping artists. You have your own label. You've done a lot of things in this industry. How do you use what you learned early on about having a manager and the kind of differences of being the independent artist to having a team behind you to help the artists you're helping today? What kind of experiences are you using to cross over?
My resume is thick. When
Yeah.
I was on Universal, I was able to bring in E40, MC Ren, and that was just already awesome just to be able to say I have a connection with him just from being on the Up and Smoke tour,
Yeah.
and actually my work ethic. You know what I'm saying? So when I'm calling and reaching out to people because I'm making these songs and I'm hearing them on it, when they respond, I'm like, okay, this is what I need. Send your publishing in. We finna make money together now. This is
Yeah.
not a game.
Yeah, I seen your debut album was That Girl on Universal, so I want to congratulate you on that because everybody gets a major deal, but you signed to the major deal, the Universal, the one that really mattered. How did you get that opportunity, and what was your experience like being a part of that major release?
My experience from being, I wasn't signed with Red Ant, but I was with Militia. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
So I was an underground success. And then, some of my rap partners, like, K Mac from the Conrads, saw me a couple of times at different events and was like, Toy, give me your number. I got some stuff I want to do with you. And I'm like, okay, I don't give everybody the number. So I
Yeah.
felt like when he called me, it wasn't going to be about no bullshit, right?
Yeah.
So he called me to do a hook for Cube. You know what I'm saying? This right after the Militia. And I'm like, okay, but come get me. You know what I'm saying? My lessons in life is I want to walk in with the person who called me. If y'all really need me, I'm going to feel special coming in. So when I went in, I did the hook for Cube, and then I left. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
And a couple weeks later, we were all at a West Coast photo shoot. And K-Mac came up to me and said, you know, that's the first single. And I'm like, let me call my attorney because I don't know what's going on.
Wow.
You know what? He was like, you know, the movie and stuff. So then, you know, Brother Ron got in contact with me. And so all my lessons from there on were experienced in real life. It wasn't that I had to stop and, you know, check what's going on. I was actually there. So when I did, you know, end up not being with Universal, because that's how I did when I was on Up and Smoke. You know what I'm saying? Got my video and co-executive produced. But I also needed to get the people with me and know this is really what I want to do for forever. And not just be on a record label and then they shelf me and then y'all forget about me because of them. You know what I'm saying? So
definitely.
I had to take charge and be like, I have to be in the forefront. And my radio show just was perfect because I like talking my shit. You know what I'm saying? I liked for my warriors to come up. You know, I made a song called I Am a Warrior in 2014. And then I put out a series called I Am a Warrior Part 1 and 2. So I gathered my producers. I gathered the artists. I was like, come on, I started my label now. We getting ready to start dropping some music. So they were like, okay, they just supported me. So yeah, that's how it all happened. Just by real shit.
That's really dope because you humbly just said, you know, I just was doing a song for Ice Cube. I didn't know it was going to become the lead single for the franchise of Friday the movie. So let's back it up a little bit. What was your reaction when you seen the movie for the first time, or when you seen the commercials, or when your friends and family are citing that song word for word because it's iconic the way it is? What was your reaction to that, since you didn't go into it thinking any of that was going to happen?
No, of course not. You know, just the process of it. And while we were traveling on the bus, that's when the song was like taking off. So we were right in the middle of everybody learning what's going on. You know, even some people to this day think that was Lil' Kim, you know. So, you know, just being on the Up and Smoke with the white shorts and being able to say they can go to, you know what I'm saying, a document or a video and see who actually, you know, is Miss Toy. And that's what was important to me on growth. You know what I'm saying? You could do it. It's an amazing song. I love my people from TikTok. They always make videos every single day. And it just keeps me on alert, man. You know what I'm saying?
Now, you mentioned Up and Smoke a few times, a legendary tour that really kind of changed how the tour industry was for music, I think. So what was it like from your viewpoint? I know you got a lot of behind the scenes experiences. You know, it's not always glitz and glamour when you're on tour. What's a memory you have of being on Up and Smoke?
When they was telling me it's going to be one sound check for the whole tour. And then also that I couldn't bring anybody. Like I couldn't have my manager and I didn't have, you know, people with me. So, but I know everybody from the business by now. You know what I'm saying? Like Rupp and Nate Dogg, and you know what I'm saying? I've met everybody. And so
you felt safe. You felt safe.
And I was. And it was crazy because, you know, Cube had two buses. He had his professional bus and then what we call the ghetto bus. And I was pretty much with the security. You know what I'm saying? I'm with security, and I felt like they included me. They talked to me well, and I learned a lot from being on. I'm glad I didn't have a lot of people that was in the way.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Because sometimes people can ruin relationships. You know.
Yeah, and you mentioned humbly again. You're so humble about what you've accomplished. I helped E40 and MC Ren get their situation. So what is that like? Like, how did you meet M40, and what was it about him? We all know of him today as this amazing major star lyricist he is, but you met him early. What was the experience like?
Working with Mr. Payback is one of my producers, you know, and he worked with Sugar T, he worked with E40, he worked with everybody. So by the time I had my record deal, I went and supported him at one of his album releases. And I was like, let me get my A&R on the phone. I think E40 would be great for this one song I have called Work a Twist. And so E40 said yes. So I'm like, well, whatever, you know, I passed him the phone, like take care of the business, and went in the studio with him. And that was like the amazing experience because I got to see him at what he does and putting his rhymes together and formatting, and you know what I'm saying? It's like you never get to see everybody do their actual thing.
You get some people write, some people do it off the top, some people write 2 lines and then off the top. So it's a full process.
It's always something unique about every artist that I've worked with. So E40, I can say, you know, was one of those situations. I wasn't there with MC Ren, but what MC Ren was saying in his verse, and put my name in it and let me know that he really, see me. It's like a big deal for me. You know what I'm saying? Still to this day. So, shout out MC Ren, E40, and everybody who participated in my very first album,
Yeah, you had so much success early on, but you're still very successful now. You just dropped the Crash Out project, produced by Speak Low. What was the motivation for dropping that project, and what's been the response so far from your fans and the DJs that's rocking with it?
They are crashing out. Everybody is crashing out every day anyway. And that project was hell to pay, but I learned a lot anyway. You know what I'm saying? And then bringing that, I found out, you know what I'm saying, that from Blackout to Crash Out, I said, well, it's gonna be a Crash Out album. You know what I'm saying? And I want people to receive it how they receive it. I can't tell everybody I want you to love this song or love this song. I put 150% in everything,
I see you got My Family Razkaz on the title track. Well, what's your guys' relationship, and what made you pick him to be on the title track of the project?
Long history, we've done a lot of things, it's a lot of photo shoots that we're in that I just started seeing lately from people posting us, and I'm like, damn, me and Raz go back. And just with Mr. Tan and all of us exhibit, we all come from the same, like hustle. And for all of us to have some success in this business means a lot to us, and we saw each other doing it. So I'm always going to support, Raz. Raz is really a phenomenal person, a human being, but he is an excellent rapper.
Excellent rapper. He'll eat them all alive.
Man, come on. So he got on the Lovely Radio show on one Thursday night, and we were just like, I have a lovely mix. You know what I'm saying? When you get in a lovely mix, that's when my producers play tracks, and so Crash Out track was played, you know what I mean, on the show. And Raz was like, hey, I like that.
Get on that,
But my vocals wasn't on it, so he didn't know that I was already building on that song. So once I did finish my vocals, I sent it to him, and I was like, Raz, I would love for you to be a part of this album. And he just boom sent it back in no time, and I was just like, fuck, this album finna be crazy, and then I got motivated again, because I see, when people support you, it's a different feeling. It's not like I'm in this business by myself, but sometimes as an artist you do feel alone. It's not always everything is right here in front of you what to do. So I wanted to create the Lovely Radio show so we can all powwow with each other when we have those hard times where we get stuck. And it's like, we don't have to be stuck if the information is out there. If people respond and they're engaged, somebody will give us the information and we can fix some things. And that's how I've been growing. So I'm like, if people don't learn, it's not my fault. You know what I'm saying?
How long have you had the Lovely radio show, and what made you decide to start a radio show in the first place? You're an artist. You've got the smash song for Friday. You're on tour and Up in Smoke, like you said, but you wanted to kind of give back your voice and help people. What made you create the Lovely show in the first place?
2012, with the Lovely Radio show was created, you know what I'm saying? And we sat down in a round table. We had drinks. We had, you know what I'm saying? Artists came through, second to none. A lot of different artists, we grew, Mr. Tan. They all just came to kick it with me and just pass the mic around and tell us about what's going on. They knew music. So when, of course, all platforms, came about, and it's like everybody's on YouTube, everybody's doing this. And I'm like, let me introduce Lovely Radio show to the internet.
The world,
And the world will be able to see us, and artists will be able to pull up like Carl Thomas and J.O. Felony and Razkaz and Corrupt and all, and then a brand new set of people who want their music heard, who own their music. So that's my thing. You can't come over here with somebody else's sound, somebody else's music. You have to own it. So I think that's the best relationship to have, is like we'll have an outlet at least to get our music heard.
How do you handle when you have, because I'm going through this right now, you got a lot of older interviews that are classics, but you haven't got it digitally yet because you're an innovator in this space and it wasn't available now. So what's your team's thought process on re-releasing the content? Are you open to doing that? And then, any advice you give to people who want to be on podcasts and how to handle dope content that's maybe outdated, but, still viable and has a great, space?
Well, we're doing some editing, and I'm growing the Lovely Radio show channel on YouTube now.
Okay.
So when you do that, everybody still used to come into Official Miss Toy, but I have the brand. I'm the trademark of it. You know what I'm saying? I want to grow the page. So sometimes it does start from doing the little things by telling people, okay, now I'm shutting this off over here. If y'all still want to watch, this is where I'm growing at. So, it's just a transition with us trying to bring that over there. And then once that is over there, we can edit some of the new stuff, and I can do some voiceovers and reviews of some of the interviews that I've had. Some of those ideas just take a while.
Now, I wanted to highlight that because everybody wants to be in the podcast game and do all these interviews and stuff, but they don't know the work that really goes into this. So you're saying 2012, you're before podcasts and all that. What's like a day-to-day operation for you and your team to create the lovely show?
So we added Wednesday because I always been on Thursday and 7 p.m. and that grew my audience. And then when I got on Wednesday, all of my, viewers from Thursday night was like, "Hey, you here on Wednesday? What's up?" I'm like, "Oh, y'all here too?" So it was like, okay, everybody started growing with us. But every day we're, promoting. I'm on my Twitch channel, Lovely Radio Show. And so we're 24/7. So I have the Lovely Mix. I'm doing artists that have been on the show, that supported the show, shared the music and all of that. I have them in a special mix that comes on maybe 2 or 3 times a day. Then I'm doing movies and regular stuff that Twitch people do. And, the fun stuff, the stuff that they don't get to see. And then sometimes I'm in the studio recording. So when I get ready for the Lovely Radio Show, I have my artist or whoever, because now I don't really have to say, okay, I want this person to be on the show. I want this person. It's who's communicating with me at the time.
Yeah, who's reaching out. Yep.
Yeah, and I'm seeing who dropping music. Oh, you got something coming. Come on the show. Click the link. I don't even have to go up through all of this with y'all. It's not a Hollywood thing. It's that if you want to promote your music, do it now when I'm live. And don't say, when can I be on the show? Do you still do interviews? Because that's going to piss me off. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. No, and it's so great that you do that because there's so many artists out here that are super talented. They just don't have a resource. They're from a small town, or they've had bad experiences in the industry. So I love that you're doing that. What you said on Thursdays at 7, what's the process for people to tune in now that you've made this transition? You said Twitch. So what's the Twitch handle? And then what kind of stuff can people expect if they're, tuning in this week?
Well, I'm live on all of the platforms. I'm live on Official Miss Soy, that's on YouTube. I'm live on the Lovely Radio Show on Twitch. So if you click the link that's on YouTube, and you know what I'm saying, you see what's going on, or you have the Twitch channel, you already know that, refresh your thing if you've been watching a movie or something, and then come back because we live, on 7 p.m. And so when the artist is here, I plan, ahead of time, so we can check the mic a little bit, you know what I mean? And then we go into our day. Now, our schedule is weird a little bit because I like to feel the vibe. Either I'm going to play some music first, or I'm going to get into some topics, or I'm just going to enjoy the artist, whoever came in, because this is not an interview. This is like it's
just a hangout session. Yeah.
What are you doing? So the artists can get to know the fans who like them. The fans can say, "Oh, I fuck with them. Let me go follow them." And they usually do it right away. They like, "Oh, I see everybody from the show that's in the chat." And so it's interactive, Matt. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't make any sense if we're not getting anybody to respond to what we're doing.
Yeah. Right. Can you go in it a little bit? Because a lot of artists, they don't understand the most important part of all this is a fan liking you enough to come back and engage and tell another person. Sometimes artists are so caught up in their egos and all this image crap, and they forget those small people that are there. Like, how important is it for an artist to support the fans? And what are some of the ways that you've seen in your successful career that artists might have hurt themselves because they didn't do the fans the right way?
Well, you got to grow with the time. It's like if you're in school, you're going to get a new curriculum every year. It's not going to be the same from last year. So if technology grows, you have to grow with it and figure out how to reach your fans through that growth. Yeah. Because everybody's not in the same place all the time. So of course we're over here, we're on Twitch, we're on here because I want to monetize wherever I'm at, especially IG and any of those pages. I have to be on to grab my people's attention. And then I'm also working with my producers side by side now. I'm not just putting out albums. Me and Mike City have music that's in the libraries. And so I've been doing separate projects alone with just him and I, no features or anything. Okay. And we've been getting placements all over the place. You know what I'm saying? I have, BMF placements. I have, some stuff on Hulu. I just got some stuff, it just takes a little bit of time and management, right? Time management and to concentrate on something other than yourself. So if I'm doing stuff for the movies, I'm not thinking about what Miss Toy do, what I drive. I'm not thinking about none of that stuff. I'm thinking about these shows. They thinking about money. They think about hoes. They think about, you feel me? And so I have to get outside myself. And so for me to have those placements, like one of my songs, Hair So Magic, I just had long locks. You know what I'm saying? I just cut my hair last July. And so Hair So Magic is like for all the women who just do whatever we want to our hair. You know what I'm saying? And don't feel and unapologetically who we are. And beauty is in eye of the beholder. So, I'm a confident woman, and I just want people to understand I'm not just making this shit up. You know what I'm saying? I love being a creator. I create music. I'm a songwriter, and I work with some incredible producers. So me and Mike City have something coming soon on Extreme Music this month before it's over. And I'm like really excited because I just saw his name come down my phone. And I said, only time Mike City hit me is when it's going down.
Time. Yeah, when he got some.
In here with you, so I got a reason to be excited too. So go ahead.
Now, we all just celebrated 420. Lungs Wide Open is the single you dropped at the Kush Stock. So what's it like dropping a song like that at this, event? And can you give us a little bit behind the scenes of what you got to experience there?
Oh, well, I've performed a few years in a row, at the Kush Stock with other projects. Miss Toy Presents the Session Part 1, Miss Toy Presents the Session Part 2. And now this is like my sesh. And we're like laid back, meeting at, in the middle with each other. Like you got projects going on and I do as well, but that doesn't mean we can't put something out for these special occasions that come out, like holidays. We call 420 a holiday. You know what I mean?
Holiday, yeah. Now, I've seen a lot of dope merch in my time that artists have created, but I've never seen someone with a puzzle. So what was the motivation for the puzzle? And, have you had anybody buy it and put it together yet for you?
Yes, my homegirls. And then, when they got it, I was like, oh, that is dope that y'all even, they was like, please, we crashing out with Miss Toy. So even my homegirl, Queen Mean, she said, I got the frame. When I put it together, I'm gonna show you. So she had some videos and everything that she was showing the puzzle. And because you crash out, we all have to be put back together some kind of way. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like that was some good, right there.
Well, I think crash out is a perfect timing, because of what's going on in the world today. We're all kind of crashing out all over the place. So it's like an anthem for everybody who's fed up with something. I mean, I'm not going to get any kind of topics on it, but we're all a little pissed off right now. So we all crashing out over stuff. So I love that. You're a part of Maverick. So I want to highlight that. I'm glad and honored to have you a part of the family. How did you and Mr. Come Clean connect, and what made you decide you want to be a part of the team?
Already it was a long night, and I said, okay, I got the lovely radio show with B Peasy, Mr. FX, DJ Mr. FX, and they brought on Chill. So I'm like, none of my regular, co-hosts were on, and we were just chopping it up. And Chill joined the show, and I'm just my regular charismatic self. Yeah. And he was like, damn, what you got going on? So I was like, shit, I got 17 albums. I got this, I got that going on. And so he was like, wait a minute, what? Maybe you bring me too. And he was like, I told you that's Miss Toy, she's doing her stuff. So, he offered me the position, and I was like, that's what I do anyway in real life. I would love to have the official title for that, and also be with a company that I can put more music out on and show other artists. We don't always have to go to the one thing, the music, the distro kids, this and that. You know what I'm saying? We have options. And so if I am a leader, like I know I am, and I present this situation, I know some people that will benefit from it will take the opportunity and they will run, you know what I'm saying? And make me proud,
Yeah. So I love that because, with what you said in the beginning, you want to help artists. And, we mentioned how there's a lot of no guidance type situations. Nobody has connections. Well, with Maverick, you have the whole team behind you. So you've got Chill, you've got me, you've got Jay, like all of us have these experiences. And I wanted to highlight that because I think you bring a lot of value to it because you've been through this industry at the highs of the highs. So you can tell artists what it takes to be successful. If you look 5 years from now, what's one of your major goals you're trying to achieve?
Also be in a facility with the lovely radio show and have a live studio recordings, and you know what I mean? I am in the studio, but this is my personal studio. But also, just build beyond that and, just expand as far as where I am and how I'm touring and, just seeing people. I want to do that a lot more. So I know it will become, greater for my fans. when they get a chance, you know, and I call them warriors because really fans is not the same thing.
Yeah,
I
facts.
have real supporters, and I know they all around the world. I have an artist that I work with, Digamain. He's in South Africa, and he's one of the artists that I work with consistently, and I'm very proud that he just has his stuff together where he's releasing music consistently. He hits me, he's just asking for advice, and he has a great sound, and he's tearing it up, blowing up in his, you know, in his country. And him extending his music to the Lovely Radio Show lets the people that's around me that's lazy,
Yeah.
and I have no excuse. You know what I'm saying?
That's kind of like me with Stop Beat from Radio. We're based out of Indianapolis, but we started really early getting global audiences. Like we wanted to show that you don't have to just be in your little circle. You can get around the globe. And sometimes it takes that stuff to grab your city's attention. You've always been very successful, but is your team and your fans and all your supporters starting to see a little difference because you're starting to elevate the way you are?
Yes. It's transitions, you know, and I know the personalities. I know the people who are just there to fucking shake me up and see if I'm really serious. I mean, after all this time, why do they still play with me, man? You know what I mean? But it makes me right. You know, it makes me get to business. It's like, oh, they still testing me. Let me make sure this is sharp. Let me make sure this is. And it's a lot that I haven't learned. So I'm still a student as well. So I love having a team to where I can get the information that I need when people ask me, you know. So thank you guys for being, you know, intelligent bosses enough to connect with each other, you know, and then I'm able to connect with you guys in a matter of no time. Like to me today is dope. I'm glad to met you right now in person. Like to me, I feel like we together.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Room, you know.
Now the single is Warriors Active. Like you said, you call your fans Warriors. Where can people go hear this song if they want to go support you? I know you've got merch and all that. So where do people go to go check it out? And if I'm a DJ and I need the files or want to get a drop, what's the process to contact you?
I have the EPK in MissToyWorld.com. The information to reach out to Chill. He's also I'm under management, and it's making my job a little easier. I'm also, you know, hands-on. So when you need a drop, I love that. Let's work together. You know what I'm saying? And make things easy as possible. I need the script. That's all.
Well, do you prefer people to hit you in the DM? You want them to email you? Like, what's your preferred method?
I would prefer if you are on Instagram, you know, and then I can direct traffic from there. Yeah, absolutely.
And then you mentioned your team a few times. How important is your team to you and your day-to-day operation? And who are some of the members you haven't mentioned yet?
Oh, I haven't mentioned K-Waz. He is a phenomenal producer. We have a song called Go Viral together. He's also one of my main engineers in mixing and mastering. And he's very valuable to me because I want all of my music to sound great for you guys. And so I'm always finding a way to mess with him. You know what I'm saying? And get him to do everything that he's able to do. But I also work with Mike City, like I said. You know, I'm working with J Patty Juggernaut. He's out of PA, and it's just like to me a gumbo because now I'm doing some rock hop. You know what I'm saying? I have an album called Rock Hop Volume 1 out, and I'm also working on Volume 2 right now because I put that out a couple of years ago, and people were really like, "What's going on with you in this rock stuff?" You know? So I'm having fun with making new material with my producer so we can have more catalogs, and that can help get us where we need to be. You know.
You know, a lot of artists sometimes are scared to take that chance. So I want to salute you on that. They're afraid that if I come from the hip hop arena and I start to go rock, people are going to get turned off by that. So I salute you on that. Did you ever get any kind of pushback from your fans or anybody in your team saying, you know, you need to stay in your lane? And do you have advice for artists when they deal with those pushbacks, how to overcome that negative vibe or something like that when you have a vision for your music and you should stand on what you believe in?
Right. Making the songs, like I said, for the libraries. I have a song on All American called Keep Moving. And this is one of my positive days where I just got on all my got to keep moving. Moving, got to keep moving. And it's, you know what I'm saying, on television and on a hit show. You know what I'm saying? So I don't let people tell me what I can't do. I know I have different fan base. I have the older fan base. I have black, I have white, I have Asian, I have Mexicans. I don't play those games with them. I don't care. Somebody is making a video right now for one of these songs on TikTok. So please do not tell me anything. You know what I mean?
Yep.
But sometimes, if I do, it's from the producer. If I need to change anything, I'm very coachable on that end. But as far as when we put it out, fuck y'all,
Yeah.
it's out.
It's out, yeah. Now, I've tried to highlight as many of the highlights I could find on your Instagram, and Chill told me about. Is there a moment in your career that we didn't mention that is kind of like one of your personal highlights?
Oh well, getting my studio and learning how to record myself.
Okay.
2014, right after I, started doing Lovely Radio Show, I was like, man, my producers need help. Mr. Payback just got me in the Bud House movie, right, with DJ Pooh, and so I did the song at his studio. But then he moved to Atlanta. So I was on the West Coast, and I was like, damn, I was so used to, recording with Mr. Payback that now when I went to Atlanta, I brought my equipment. Brought microphone. Yep. He showed me how to do it. So one thing is them being able to say, you don't have to come here and I trust you.
Yeah.
And you've been doing a great job. And the files, we can read them, we can open them if there's any problem. So that is like, to me, I have to pat myself on the back for that, because that took a long time to learn. But
how did you learn? Because so many people, I've seen some artists, they actually literally record themselves and do the vocals at the same time, run back. Like, what was kind of your process, and what was one of the tools that somebody gave you that made it easier for you? Like when you were trying to figure out one piece of information they gave you that made everything, smoother.
Find the program that's easier for me.
Yep.
To work and operate, learn the basics and stuff first before I go all crazy. And so now I just, I got to empty out my computer sometime because I go so crazy recording. And once you get started, you will never want to stop. Like, it's not like I don't go to the big studios, but to get pre-production and things done, ideas is the best thing for you as an artist to invest in yourself there, because most people gonna have you running back and forth, and it costs.
Yeah. Can you speak to that a little bit? The impression you make when you do go to the big studio and you pull in the demo and it's already mastered, got the hooks ready, knows the beat count, like it's already a finished song, versus walking into the bigs and now you pull out your piece of paper and you're trying to can you give a little insight of how that helps the artists elevate in this industry?
Oh, please be prepared. And they know from watching my show, I know people don't do it. They're gonna do the opposite. Yeah. So what I try to say is stuff that I do, right? Yeah, I'm speaking on me, but if you follow this, you might reach some of these goals. You know what I mean? You might. I don't know how you work, but I know how I work. And you have to be prepared when you go to the studio, because a lot of times, if you prepare, they're going to love you more. They're going to need you on something. You're going to
get more calls. They will call you more. Yeah.
They're going to be like, that professional ass lady shit.
I've had artists, they come to the studio and they didn't have a lot of money or anything, but they just came to the studio and killed it. First take, no issues. And then the producer was like, yo, homie, just sit over there for a minute. We might need you for more. And then that person built their career because they were ready when the time came and they knocked it out the park. So what do you like to do for fun? Like, we talked about all your successes as a songwriter, movie placements, and all this dope stuff you do. But if you're not doing music, what are you doing to enjoy yourself?
Getting love poured in from my warrior family. I just came back from watching my little nieces and nephews find eggs, and my puppy just turned 3 on 4/20. So they all just ran around my mom's yard, and I'm really, really a simple person. I love being around people that actually have goals and stuff, but we can let our hair down and have fun at the same time. I do smoke weed. I don't drink, but I do like being around people that do, drink. I don't have a problem with that. But my fun thing is I'm just one of those people. I'm spontaneous. I either like to travel, go somewhere, see some stuff, and then like I was traveling and Chill was like, you got to interview today. I'm glad I'm going back home today. I can't be missing my shit. So I was ready, just to sit down and talk with you about whatever we was going to talk about. Yeah.
And I want to highlight, Ice Cube just got the Walk of Fame in LA. How proud is it for you? Because you've known him all these years and you were a part of that amazing song that kind of catapulted everything. How proud of you are of him, and how motivational is that to you as a person to strive for the stars and, for that?
Q worked hard. You know what I'm saying? He was not just the artist when I met him. He was also a movie director and an actor. So I looked at all of those different things and I was like, he can do all of these things. I know I can do a few of these things. I engineer. I'm a radio personality. I act as well. I've been in some things. So I've also taken notes, you know, on some of the things that he's done, opposed to some of the other artists. He's very professional when it comes down to, you know, just being on stage, having a team ready. And so I just hope for the best for anything that he's doing with the big three, with the movies and all the rest of the stuff, because that helps other people eat, you know?
Now, do you have anything coming up that we can circle on a calendar, either a song release, a movie, you know?
Read this. I mean, we're going to get The Real in the City and HBIC projects. Okay. Also, I have a project coming with Extreme Music that's dropping this month. Okay. The Sesh album will be out this week, but you'll know, you'll have information about the rest of the songs. We got some special guests. Okay. We have special guests that's on there, and you guys are not going to be surprised because it's me, you know what I mean? And they just come through. And so I'm excited about that. I'm not done with the album, so it's pretty much in production right now. The first single is out, Lungs Wide Open. J-Pad, the Juggernaut, KYs, both are my producers, but they also are MCs, and they run a lot of the music around here. You know what I'm saying? So I join forces with them. We can have a bigger push if it's not just me by myself.
Facts, you know? 100%. So with you being a part of Maverick and Chill being your manager, are you planning to be at either the Grassroots Festival this year or any of the hype events? I know they're doing something in Atlanta for the 23-year anniversary. Any thought about being at any of those events?
Well, that is a part of the plan. You know what I'm saying? Some things are going to work out. They're going to work themselves out. And I also plan on being a part of the Long Beach Grassroots. So, you know, y'all going to see me somewhere, you know, in person.
Now, if you could collaborate with any artist, living or dead, who would it be and what would you create?
Now, I work with Tupac. Ooh. You know what I mean? Not alive, but Mr. Payback made an incredible song. And I also gave, you know, homage to him on my That Girl album, Wonder Why They Call You Bitch. Wonder Why that song was produced by Doug Rashid, who also produced for Tupac.
Okay.
So when I saw him in person before he passed away, he said, I'm going to look out for you. Because I was like, you know, I'm Miss Toy, I rap. You know, I was doing Militia at the time. And our single dropped in 97. You know, he passed.
Okay, so around time.
When I told him, it was, you know, the time when I told him I'm coming out. And I really did. You know what I'm saying? So I just feel like the people who didn't get a chance to enjoy the music get a chance to hear it and hear what they love now and appreciate it. Because you never know when your favorite not going to be here no more, you know?
Yeah, facts.
So you know, that's one of my favorites. And he not here, but I was able to work with Mr. Payback and get a song with him. So
that's amazing. What do you have to say to all your fans and supporters who's been rocking with you all these years?
Thank you, guys. Thank you, everybody. The Warriors. Everybody know how I am about people in my space and talking to me. You can't just say, hey, in my DM. I'm not that kind of person. You have to talk, speak. Hey, Miss Toy, I know you from this, such and such, such. You know, get to the point. Show that you was raised right. You know what I'm saying? And then you'll get a great response from me. To pull up on a lovely radio show is easy. When we're live Wednesday or Thursday night, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, make sure you pull up. The link will be in my chat. All you got to do is know where your links are to your singles and put them in the chat. We're going to play the song while you're there. You know what I'm saying? How about that? Play the song while you're there. Get the live feedback. I have a very interactive chat and it's amazing. So thanks, you know, for having me on Hype. Because, you know, we're going to hype each other up now. You know?
Yeah, definitely. I'm definitely going to tap in and help promote everything I see you do on the show with Stop Beefing Radio on the Hype Magazine. We appreciate your time tonight. I hope you have a great night.
You too, man. Thank you for having me.
Salute.
Yep.